And we're back with Ask Archie's Old Man. And this is a question that's come in. And I'll just read it to you there. It says, Dear Archie, my name is Tim. I live in Pensacola, Florida in America. I thought this would be a good time to introduce myself because I'm currently going through a divorce with my Thai wife, Poo. That's spelt P-U. I've travelled to Thailand twice now. It is a great place. She is demanding of me $23,000. She is demanding of me a $23,000 Mercedes-Benz C230 in order for her to sign over the house to me. I have helped her with immigration to the US, gave her mum $5,000 for medical expenses in the past. I love your channel and really relate to your Captain Save a Horse series as well as the divorce videos. Lucky I haven't had any kids with her. I'm currently working at a government job on base as a barber. I think he's a military man. I was wondering if you'd be able to address what you think about this and what I should do. Also, to add insult to injury, my wife one time mentioned to me she wanted a divorce so I could marry her mother in Thailand so I could bring her mother to the States. So she obviously has been using me this whole time. I am also including, this is just another video he sent me, but that doesn't really matter. What's the answer there? He's obviously married this woman from Thailand, and so that she doesn't take his house off him, she wants a $23,000 Mercedes-Benz. So I take it he's living in America with her then?
Yeah, we got any idea what the house is worth? Because
he hasn't given me any indication of the house, but it's probably, houses are a bit cheaper than Australia. If he's in, if he's living in New York, they're very expensive for an apartment. But if he's living in, some sort of rural sort of place there, $150,000 will get you a beautiful home. So,
yeah.
For the point of our exercise, let's just say the house is possibly a $100,000 home. He probably owes 30 or 40 on it. But she's playing hardball. She wants a Mercedes out of him. What should he say and do then? I think she's got him by the balls.
I think, well, the last part of it, that he wanted her to marry his mother. I suppose Thais are a little bit like that.
They're conniving bitches, aren't they?
Yeah.
They can be conniving.
They can. She loves him or she doesn't love him, but they've got this family thing where they do silly things like that or say things like that. And but let's ignore that for the time being. I mean that's not acceptable, that part. I mean, you wouldn't divorce a wife to marry a mother so she can come to America. Anyway, that's strictly against the American Immigration Act or whatever, and it's certainly against the Australian situation too.
Yes.
You wouldn't be able to do that.
Yes.
It's getting harder
It depends what the mother looks like as well. I mean, is she better in the sack than the daughter?
But
at least you know where you're going with that, but wouldn't you?
Yeah. Back to Pooh. Well, she's come to Australia.
She's gone to America.
Come to America. Right, he's brought her out, whatever, which is, a difficult situation. He's brought her out there, and he's paid a lot for that situation. Well, why has the relationship broke down? Now, sometimes, I suppose, it's either his fault or her fault or it's both fault. Now, so, we can't sort of, cast judgments here, but let's suppose it's nobody's fault, I suppose. See, in Australia we have a no-fault divorce system, so it doesn't matter whose fault it is or whose not fault it is. We don't have fault. You don't get divorced because of adultery or cruelty or whatever. In America you do, possibly, I think. So we got a different system. So we got sort of coming from a different situation. But if, the marriage is broken down, the relationship's broken down, he's just saying, well, give me my Mercedes-Benz, you can, and I'll sign the house over. Well, if the house is worth more than $23,000, say he's got equity of $50,000 or $70,000, that's a cheap way of getting rid of her. Really, sign over the house and that's it. But if the house is worth equal to the 23, if she fights or whatever, go to solicitors and lawyers, whatever they have there in America. None of them's going to have anything. So maybe it's a cheap way of getting her out of the system. Pay her out and off she goes. But even though she signs over the house, I mean, you see, in Australia, even though you've signed over the house, it doesn't mean that you got no claim on the house. Mm-hmm. She can sign the house over to him, so he owns the house. But then she can still say, well, we're not divorced, we haven't had a property settlement, and I'll have a claim on that. But if, say, it wasn't like that, so if all is good, if he gives her the 23,000 Mercedes-Benz and she leaves him with a 50,000 equity in a house, mm-hmm. well, maybe that's not a bad way to go. But I'm surprised that this lady...
I don't think that's a new Mercedes-Benz. It's a C230.
Well, in America, they're pretty
different
cheaper.
Different models.
Yeah, in America, they're quite cheaper than here. The taxes are not as expensive as Australia, aren't they?
Well, it has nothing to do with the taxes. It's what the agency decides to sell it for.
No, but in Australia, when you buy a Mercedes-Benz, it might cost $40,000. The government taxes $40,000.
They also see America as a big market for cars. Right. Mercedes-Benz sells them in Australia as a prestige product, a premium product. Yeah, they gouge you more here. Yeah. That's not the government. It's not all. It's not all. The government does rape you here, but it's not all just government. It's what they decide to sell it for. Because you got to remember, there's 250 million fuckers in America. We got 22 million fuckers. Yeah. So they see us as a small market to gouge.
I think back to our friend.
I don't fucking know what the answer is.
He's in a poor situation, but I think that if she wants out, or get her out in the best possible way, make sure it's watertight, make sure she can't come back and take his house, and go on with life.
Would you? I'd even say it might be a good idea to say to her, look, you will marry the mother, just to get her to sign the deal over, and then maybe change your mind later, or you best not to get involved in that.
No,
I get involved.
I won't get involved in that because
it's just a disaster.
Well, so you said that, and then they. I mean,
they're just woman scorned. Woman scorned.
Who the hell want to marry a mother anyway?
Yeah, fuck. Just fucking crazy. Who the fuck? I mean, if it was her sister, you could possibly pull it off. What do you think? Well, if it's the sister, but I mean the mother. Who the fuck wants to marry the mother? I mean, it's the second-hand goods, aren't they?
This woman, I mean, if she wants to divorce, she doesn't feel for him and doesn't care for him, and she's not worth having. There's no point being with her. No, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, the divorce or the break of the relationship. They're not together. They don't care for each other. So get out in the best possible way.
Get the fuck out.
Get that out and start again. And if it's his fault, well, make sure he doesn't do stuff up again. If it's her fault, well, find somebody who is more loving and whatever. Not somebody who's desperate to come to America and then doesn't want to keep on in the relationship. But I suppose with our friend too, he must look at himself. I mean, normally, why did he get a woman from Thailand and bring her to America?
Well, he loved her.
Well,
what's wrong with that?
He loved her, yeah. We met her. She was good to him, and they're normally quite good.
They're good for a while. The warranty period's run out, and he's got burnt. That you can't take a flower out of the woods. Sometimes it's best to leave the flower in the forest so it doesn't die.
And in a different environment.
He's very fucking... Yeah. And he's on base all the time, let's be honest. He's probably working hard. Yeah. He's trapped on a base.
See, what does she do, see?
He didn't give us the information. I mean, he really needs to give us a lot more information, and preferably a pic of the mother before we can give advice. Well, a pic of the mother and a pic of poo. I want to see what she looks like. What do you think?
Yeah, it might be good to...
Yeah. We want to see... You can't... See, these guys, they're not giving us enough information. We've got to... Yeah. He needs to tell us how much is his house worth, how much is the car a new Mercedes? I think it's a used one for that sort of money. Yeah. And we want to see a picture of the mother. I mean, how can you give advice? I mean, she could be a good sort.
And rich.
And rich, This is the thing. She could be a good sort. And, I mean... He hasn't given us a pic of the mother, and I want to see what Pooh looks like.
But he wouldn't marry the mother just because Pooh wants to divorce. I mean,
well, it depends if she's a good sort.
Normally, the mother and daughter stick.
I mean, they'd have to consummate the marriage. You can't be breaking the Immigration Act, can you?
Well,
you can't be doing illegal things. But if he had intimate relations with her, you could argue that they did actually have a thing going, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I think so. You're in a poor situation.
Yeah, poor situation.
You get out in the best possible way.
Get out in the best possible way.
And don't stuff up again.
And don't fuck up again. Don't marry them next time.
Yeah. Well, then you can't bring it to America, of course.
Well, he doesn't. I think he fucking wants to do that again. You have no fucking house left. You can't keep buying Mercedes Benzes for these girls.
No.
Okay, that's a good way.